on what they need to do. I think they, like us, believe that Iran has to stand down on its nuclear weapons program. And we have mobilized the international community in a way that is unprecedented. And they are feeling the pinch. They are feeling the pressure. But they have not taken the step that they need to diplomatically, which is to say we will pursue peaceful nuclear power. We will not pursue a nuclear weapon.
Ex-Panama dictator Manuel Noriega goes from prison to the hospital. He's being treated for hypertension and possible stroke this morning. 77-year-old Noriega is serving time for crimes committed while in office. Noriega returned to Panama late last year, nearly 22 years after U.S. forces forcibly removed him from office. General Motors says it can make more than $10 billion a year. It may be close to reaching its goal. The Wall Street Journal reporting GM is expected to report a net income of $8 billion for 2011. GM received a federal bailout, of course, in 2009 after filing bankruptcy. Minding your business now, concerns about Greece's debt problems pushing markets lower this morning. U.S. stock futures for the Dow, NASDAQ, and S&P 500 all pointing to a lower open right now after a stellar week last week. The CDC is now recommending that boys get an HPV vaccine. It's aimed at preventing cervical cancer in women. But since women get infected from men, doctors say it makes sense to receive the vaccination as well. The new CDC guidelines call for routine vaccinations for boys 11 and 12 years old and 3-dose vaccinations for young men 13 to 21. And our own Soledad O'Brien, honored by the United Negro College Fund Friday at its annual leadership conference. Soledad was awarded the National Legacy Award for Outstanding Service to Higher Education. Soledad, congratulations.
Thank you very much. And Roland is killing my joy by saying, that trophy looks familiar. Oh, didn't I win one of those? Don't I have one?
Well, you told me the joke when she came back. It was too funny.
I'm teasing. Thank you, Christine. All right, we've got some poll numbers to give you. A new national ABC Washington Post poll of Republicans. In that poll, Mitt Romney has a commanding lead, 39%, to Newt Gingrich's 23%. You can see how the rest of the folks come out under that. This is following Newt Gingrich's loss in Nevada this Saturday. Tea Party leader Dick Armey says Newt Gingrich's time may have come and gone. Listen.
South Carolina was an aberration because Newt Gingrich had what is likely to be, in final analysis, his best moment in South Carolina. He had just that one masterful moment where he transformed himself from perpetrator to victim, attacked the media, which, Candy, as you know, is always popular with our base, and just sort of took that momentary surge.
Tom Lucero is the Colorado campaign chairman for Newt Gingrich. Colorado will hold the caucuses there tomorrow. Nice to see you, sir. Thanks for being with us. We appreciate it. As you heard Dick Armey say, and others have said, when the slide starts, it's very hard to reverse that slide. What is this, a downward trend? And Newt Gingrich made it very clear he's not getting out of the race. So what do you do about a downward trend?
Well, all I can do is speak to the state of Colorado. Tomorrow night is caucus night, as you mentioned, in Colorado, and it begins the first phase in electing delegates to send to the National Convention. And we actually select our delegates April 13th and 14th, and we're just receiving tremendous support from grassroots leaders, liberty leaders around the state of Colorado, and we feel tremendously confident that of the 36 delegates that Colorado is going to send to the National Convention, the majority of those delegates are going to go on behalf of Newt Gingrich. But you hit on one point, and tomorrow night we do have a non-binding presidential straw poll, and chances are Mitt Romney is going to do very well in that presidential straw poll, and it creates a perception that he's doing very well in the state of Colorado. But I can assure you the majority of the delegates for Colorado are going to ultimately go for Newt Gingrich.
When you look at the state of Florida, Newt Gingrich did very well among people who identified themselves as very conservative or strong Tea Partiers. That was South Carolina and Florida. But then when it came to the state of Nevada, actually those same categories all went to Mitt Romney. How do you get them back? I mean, I've got to imagine that's got to be important to the strategy, any kind of strategy to win.
Well, the one thing I know, and I don't know about Nevada, but I know here in the state of Colorado, when you look and you show up at events where it's the grassroots, hardcore party, Republican Party activists, Newt Gingrich is doing very well. Mitt Romney's people are not the grassroots leaders in the Republican Party. You see a lot of people from the Republican establishment, and you will see those people show up on caucus night and vote in the non-binding presidential straw poll for their guy. But the people who are actually doing the work, who are going to become delegates, who are going to take this all the way to Florida and to the convention, are the Republican grassroots activists. And here in Colorado, those people are solid and Newt Gingrich.
Hey, Tom, Roland Martin here. How do you keep your candidate on message? He goes to Florida. He's talking about landing on the moon and putting a colony there, possibly making him the 51st state, when the real issue comes down to the economy and jobs. So what about keeping him on message and disciplined?
I think that's a great question, Roland, and that's part of the reason I love Newt Gingrich, is because he has a vision for restoring America's greatness. I served for 12 years, and it was great because I was hearing you guys talk about higher education. I was on the Board of Regents at the University of Colorado for 12 years, and one of our main focuses in Boulder was on NASA's space exploration, because we get it. We understand the role that higher education plays in making America great. When you talk about innovation that takes place, that innovation takes place in that research and development on college campuses all around this country. You set a vision about exploring space. That is a public-private partnership, and critical to that public partnership are America's colleges and universities. You want to talk about an infusion of physicists, of engineers, of the technology that will be developed. You are, by the very essence of that, defining jobs in the economy as part of that public-private partnership between the private sector and government. But it takes a big vision to define that vision for America and to restore America's greatness.
Hey, Tom, I want to ask a question to Congressman Poe, who's sitting here with us as well. That vision was mocked on Saturday Night Live in a very funny piece. And does that have any impact, number one? And number two, are we seeing the signs of the great coalescing, which I think of the words that Peggy Noonan used to write an article in the Wall Street Journal, sort of saying that Mitt Romney is gathering up all the pieces now, even though people don't really like him?
Well, we still have this issue between Romney and Gingrich. That's really where the focus is. Most folks in the Republican Party are divided, and then there's Ron Paul and, of course, Santorum at the end. Romney is trying to make sure that this whole issue of who's the presidential nominee does not go to the convention, that he gets enough delegates before the convention so that the convention stays out of the process. But yes, there's two different philosophies between Newt Gingrich.
And what side are you on? What philosophy do you buy into?
Well, of course, I'm a conservative, and I believe more the conservative philosophy, but I haven't endorsed anybody, because every time I kind of get on somebody's side, they drop out of the race. and you know, I was 0 for 8 4 years ago. Every time I signed on somebody, they're out of the race. You know.
Yeah, Tom, we can spare you that. The congressman will not endorse, because apparently he's like kryptonite. You don't want his endorsement. Let me ask you a serious question, though. You know, he's talking about sort of staying. Mitt Romney obviously not wanting anybody else in the race, having this be an issue, certainly when you get to the convention. Can Newt Gingrich afford to stay in through March to Super Tuesday, which he's made it? He said he's gonna, but can he afford to? Michelle Bachmann, let me play a little clip. She says money's kind of the big issue. Listen.
When do you think the nomination will be settled?
I think it could be fairly soon, but, you know, Ron Paul has said he will go all the way to the convention. Newt has said he will also. Rick Santorum has said he will, but the practicality is money is a big part of it, and it'll be up to the candidates what they can pay.
So, final quick question to you, Tom. Money, can he really stay in till Super Tuesday and beyond?
Well, as long as the grassroots stays energized, just like they are here in Colorado, those small dollar donations will keep rolling into the campaign. And if we can win delegates every state we go, we have a legitimate shot at ending up in Florida at a brokerage, and just like the congressman mentioned, and if the other two candidates remain in the race as well, and we see a dilution of the delegate pool, we get to Florida and anything is possible. And if the congressman would please throw his endorsement to Mitt Romney, his campaign would be absolutely thrilled.
Tom Lucero is the Colorado campaign chair for Newt Gingrich. Nice to have you. Thanks for being with us. Still ahead this morning on Starting Point, Ford, GM, is there a feud? Their ad war launched during the Super Bowl with this ad that you're looking at